Good morning, my friends. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite freaking day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys. Now, today I'm super excited because we haven't done this in a few months. We are actually doing our quarterly Etsy/EverBee store audits today. So I hope you were able to put in your Etsy shop into the hat for me to go through today. If you didn't, we always do it every quarter, once a quarter in our Facebook group. So please make sure you can find it in the description of this video at the very end, or I guess description of the live stream that will then become a video. You can find the Facebook group link at the very bottom of the description of this live stream. If you're not already a part of the Facebook group, highly recommend joining, because that's where you're going to get notice of any new things that we have coming up, notifications about any new videos we might have put out, and then also things like this where you have the opportunity to put your name, your shop, or your business in the hat for an audit. So today we had 11 people come through saying that they would be interested in an audit again on our Facebook group. And I went ahead, it's going to look so lame, but I went ahead and randomly chose 5 of them. So you can see I just put this like crazy amount of numbers in no order whatsoever. And then I just closed my eyes and then I went, and it came down to numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, which I thought was crazy. Like that's some weird intuition right there to basically be like 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 6, and then 7. Anyways, that's who we picked for today. So I currently have 5 stores up. However, if we have more time before the hour closes today, I'm going to open up a couple more as well. So if you don't see yours on the list for today, have no fear. I might be able to open up some more as the hour goes on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just share my screen. Usually I got a lot of housekeeping to do. Today I don't. So let's just get right into it. The first one we're going to go over today is Template Haven Space. Now, just so you guys know, I have not had a look at any of these yet. They just literally were up on my screen that I added from the Facebook group. I deleted from my screen the ones that were not selected, which means I'm probably going to have to go back and get them if we end up doing more than 5 today. So I haven't seen these. I have no bias beforehand. I do not know what I'm looking at. I don't even know what types of stores these are. In this case, though, it does look like obviously we are looking at a digital product store. So Canva templates and printables, it looks like. So just so you guys know how this works, if you have not been a part of one of our Etsy audits on a quarterly basis so far, this is probably the 10th or 12th one that we've done. No, that's a lie. Let's see. 8. This is probably the 8th one that we've done because we are nearing my 2-year anniversary with EverBee. So being able to be a part of this community for 2 years is in literally 2 weeks. So we have basically done this every quarter since I started with the EverBee team. So if you have not seen one of these in the past, where have you been? Because we've been doing this for a while. But again, if you haven't, I want to let you guys know exactly what I usually look for. And we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the first one so that you can see my thinking behind it. And then we're going to move on to the other ones, go a little bit faster, right? That's the goal. So what I'm going to be looking for is number 1 is branding and just like personal brand around. And that doesn't mean that they have to be a personal brand themselves. That doesn't mean that I have to like see the person's face necessarily. Although I really do like to see that, but we'll talk about that later. But it just means, is this branded in some way, shape, or form? Do I feel like I can trust this seller to take care of me? Do I feel like they are telling me who they are while also telling me who I'm supposed to be? So do they have a known audience who they are trying to target? Do they know that audience's pain points? That's what I mean by branding. I don't mean just the banner and the logo and the colors all look right. Yeah, we're going to look at that too, but I really want to get into, does this person seem to know their audience and are they communicating that appropriately through their listings? Okay. The number 1 is branding. Number 2 is going to be SEO and search in general. So are these people utilizing the right titles? Are they utilizing the right shipping strategies, the right pricing strategies. If we go into product analytics within the listing details on any of these listings, which you guys, if you've seen this, you know I usually like randomly select one or two listings with my eyes closed. So are those listings as optimized as possible? Is there anything else they could possibly do to potentially be seen and or be clicked through and or be purchased a little bit more? So that's number 2, is we're going to get into the search style itself. And then number 3 is, like I said, I like to kind of go into the listing itself to kind of get an idea of, if I were this person's exact audience, which more than likely I'm not, but if I can put myself into that frame of mind, would I buy this particular item? If the answer is yes, fantastic. Keep applying that same concept and everything we're going to go over to all of your other listings. If the answer is no, though, why? And I'm going to tell you exactly why. And we're going to go over the things that I, as a customer, a searcher, a potential buyer, are missing from your listing. And then that will allow you to be able to determine how you want to create your listings going forward and or edit any ones that are not currently bestsellers. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. That's what we're going to really go through today. Again, my very first one usually takes a little bit longer, simply because I'm kind of showing you the full site map of what happens when I'm going into an audit. Then the other one should be a little bit shorter. So let's get started with our first one, Template Haven Space. So first off the bat, what I usually like to look at is something called above the fold. Now, if you guys have never heard of that, what it's like, I don't even know what it's called, like a euphemism? No. If you've never heard of above the fold, it basically just means, like, back in the day, I wish I had an example of it so I could show you, but I don't have anything around me. I finally cleaned my office for the first time in like 3 months. So for the first time, I don't have random things around me that I could show you, but I am going to rip this paper real fast. Excuse the noise. There we go. So above the fold is back in the day when you would get a newspaper. I don't know if y'all still get newspapers. I don't. I use my phone, which, by the way, I probably should stop doing because I don't know if anything is real at all right now. So hopefully the newspapers are at least keeping journalistic integrity. Anyways, moving on. Above the fold means, let's just say this is a newspaper that you received. Ignore all my random notes on it. Let's say this is a newspaper that got flung to your house back in the day. And then there's a fold, right? So like this is like you open up the newspaper to read the whole thing. So above the fold literally means everything that takes place before the fold took place in the newspaper. So it was like the most eye-catching stuff, the craziest headlines, the most important stories, more than likely. And that is what I also like to assume in someone's Etsy shop, their EverBee store, their social media pages, their website, of course. What is above the fold? So when we're thinking digital above the folds, we are doing basically what happens before the first scroll. Now, please do be keeping in mind, I am at, let me see. Here's 100%. If I were to like zoom into 100% view, I guess, visibility, whatever, on my site, on my computer, excuse me. But I also, please do keep in mind, have a 27-inch screen. So my above the fold might be slightly larger than somebody else's, 16-inch laptop screen potentially, okay? But this is what I'm seeing on my end above the fold. So what are we looking at here? So we're seeing the banner, we're seeing the name, not really important, but whatever. We're seeing the name, how many listings they have, sections if they have any, how many sales that have taken place, how old are they, do they have reviews, and then usually the top 4 featured listings. Now that doesn't mean, by the way, that they are featured. That just means I'm seeing them first, right? So some people could obviously be featuring a specific type of listings in those top 4 by, starring them in their back end of Etsy. So that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's happening here. It just means that I'm able to see these 4, right? So we will find out in a second if they are featured, because I truly can't see that yet because we are still above the fold. So I went super in depth in that for a reason, guys, because I want you to consider what above the fold should mean in every single aspect of your business. So what I'm going to do really fast is actually show you my maybe, baby. 1 second. I'm going to show you my Instagram. This is like super lame of me to do, but it's the best way that I can explain why I think above the fold is so important. Okay. So, and why I want you guys to start living your life and building your business like this, because I am seeing it as a viewer, and 100% of your customers are seeing this as an above the fold situation, no matter if they even know what that means or not. Okay. So even though you guys might not have ever heard of above the fold or knew what it was until today, you are kind of like physiologically looking at things in that way. And it's because we've been trained to, because we've been conditioned by the people who do know what above the fold is. So if we look at this, for example, I am seeing that theoretically, maybe Leslie is somewhat reputable because she's got a good amount of people that are wanting to be a part of her journey, right? I'm also seeing her name is Leslie. So first of all, I'm seeing kind of maybe someone that's maybe relatable. She's kind of hanging out. She's got a nice smile. She's showing off her tattoos, whatever. Maybe she's someone that I can relate to. I'm also seeing, okay, so she does UGC stuff and she also mentors people. Interesting. Good to know. So I'm clocking all of this in milliseconds of time, maybe even less than milliseconds, trilliseconds, whatever the smallest amount is. I am clocking these things and my brain is processing these things as I'm seeing them, as I'm consuming it. However, like I said, we're not doing exactly what I just did, being like, oh, okay, 20,000 followers, she must be reputable. We're not doing that, right? It's happening faster than we can ever imagine it to happen. Our brain is just processing through these things to see if she is someone I can trust or not, right? So then the next thing I'm going to do, again, this all happens in a couple of seconds. The next thing I'm going to do is be like, okay, what is she doing? All right, so maybe she's helping me stand out and make more money. Cool, interesting. What is she telling me to do? She's telling me that this might be a good thing for me to click. So maybe I click it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I follow. Oh, looks like I'm following myself. I have 2 accounts. So that makes more sense. I was like, how did I get here? So maybe I'm following. I want to follow her. I want to message her, whatever. And then I'm seeing these guys right here, which are highlight reels. So these are things that I, as the business owner, want them to see. So I want you to be going through these things, and I am procuring them and curating them intentionally because it is above the fold. Then the other thing that I'm seeing above the fold, which granted, these are a little bit cut off, but I'm starting to see she has 3 pinned posts. So if I were to go down a little bit more, I'd be able to see exactly what those pinned posts are. And then I'm seeing how to create podcast style for cheap, how I make UGC entertaining scripts in seconds. I see she's got these like balloons that's like a 1 and an M. That's kind of interesting. I'm seeing she's talking about a lot of herself right here. There's like 6 of her, right? What is that? That's interesting. That's intriguing to me. So that's what I want you guys to think about. I'm going to share my other screen. That's what I want you guys to think about when you're going into this space. And the reason I'm spending so much time on it is you guys should be always thinking of every piece of your business digitally, maybe even physically. You know, if you're at a trade show and stuff, above the fold, like where are people's eyes going first, and making that the most important piece, curated by you. But most importantly, digitally, in every single piece of your business online, how can you make the above the fold as sexy as possible so that they continue to keep scrolling? Okay. So when I'm looking at this particular account, Template Haven or shop, Template Haven Space, elevated Canva templates and printables. I actually really, really love this banner. I don't usually recommend, and if you've been here before, you know that I've said this 1,000 times. I don't recommend putting your name in your banner because your name's right here. There's really no need for it. What I want to see up here is elevated Canva templates and printables. I want to see if you have a very particular person. Maybe you're helping moms. Maybe you're helping people who need invitations, whatever it is. I also want to see, are you giving me, which in this case, it's, moot, but I do want to bring it up. Are you giving me free shipping? Are you giving me a discount? Is there anything that would convince me to keep scrolling? Right now, to be honest, there's not. I do like elevated Canva templates and printables, but if we take the name out of the banner, there is so much white space that we could be utilizing to, again, target the right person and encourage them to keep scrolling below the fold, okay? We're also seeing, again, just as a random person coming to this account for the first time, no reviews, 0 sales, and 3 months on Etsy. So to me, that, as someone who potentially wants to buy from her, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea, because it seems like there's something missing. It seems like other people are not purchasing this. And I don't even know why yet, but because I am a buyer that's looking above the fold, I might not even be interested in figuring out why. So that's why you guys got to work really, really hard to get the above the fold, making them want to scroll, right? Everything that you have up in here. So with no reviews and 0 sales, I would be doing everything in my power, even if it's just to get my friends and family to purchase from me. I would be doing everything in my power to try to get these few sales and get basically 80 to 100% of reviews on them. So if you make 8 sales, you need to have like 6 to 8 reviews. If you make 10 sales, you need to have 8 to 10 reviews. That's what I would be doing right now in the early stages, because this is not making you any sales, more so than you already don't have. And it's not doing you any service keeping them like that. The second thing I'm noticing is I don't want to scroll quite yet, but I'm not being told where to go yet. So again, we're above the fold right now. I see she has 26 items, but I don't freaking know what these 26 items are because she's not telling me. I'm assuming this is a sheet. My apologies. They are not telling me. So where are your sections, right? So what can I expect from your shop? Are there invitations? Are there bridal party stuff? Or is there whatever? So build out those sections. And if you don't know what those sections are, that might mean that you don't have enough products out there that can be sectioned off. Because right now I'm just seeing you have 26 listings and I don't know why or what they are, right? So that's what I would highly recommend as well, is we got to have some sections in here that are going to tell me that it is worth it for me to keep scrolling, okay? So let's say we ignored all of those things and we decided I'm ready to scroll. I'm interested in what this person has to offer. We scroll a little bit. The first thing I am noticing that I'm very, very happy with is these template mock-ups are incredible. The mock-ups are very, very, very well done. I know exactly what I'm getting, even though we're only on the thumbnail itself. So it's a very small, thing that I'm looking at. It's really hard sometimes to create digital product mock-ups that make sense and that show me exactly what I'm going to get. So I know, even though I can't read all of this, I know by looking at it, it's a cookie exchange bundle and it's editable in Canva. And I'm on 100% Zoom right now, right? So theoretically, people should also be on that as well. I'm also seeing it's a digital download. I'm also seeing it's a Christmas cookie exchange invitation, maybe something I didn't know from the mock-up itself. So the combination of the mock-ups or the first photo in their listing and the title, those two are playing off of each other super well. And I also love the way that they are creating things around what they're selling. So Christmas footprint keepsake, I know exactly what that is. Add your baby's real footprints. 3 sizes, editable in Canva, 2 freebies included. Heck yeah, that might be something that I want to look into. I don't have a kid, but if I did, that'd be cool. And then you can see that this is obviously related to Christmas in the background. This is related to 2016. Good Lord, what a good time to be alive, right? That was fun. That was a good time. 2026. Hopefully 2026 is something we talk about in 10 years as a good time as well. But we're seeing like 2026, New Year's Eve celebrations, champagne, whatever in the background. So off the bat immediately, these are incredible mock-ups, and I highly recommend you guys taking a piece of this particular shop's strategy and applying it to your own if you are in fact doing digital products, because they are doing a fantastic job. The only thing that I'm noticing though, and this is something that kind of goes along with would I buy this / the SEO strategy, we are really all over the place as it relates to pricing. So what I saw a second ago when I was scrolled at the bottom was like $5.99, $5.50, $5. Now, granted, those are bundles, which I'm very aware that would be more than one thing. But then I'm also seeing, I saw another bundle. Maybe it's this. Am I crazy? I could be wrong here. This might be only one thing. Never mind. Okay, this one. Okay, so editable New Year's Eve invitation, $3.50. Why is this one $3.50? And then this one that's like the exact same thing, just for a different type of audience, $2.15. And then this one's $3.50 again. But then if I come up here, it's $2. And it's like, it's just really confusing to me as the potential buyer. There doesn't seem to be a strategy for pricing across the board. If you were trying to test different things against each other, like these two are both 115, for example, and you wanted to maybe copy and paste this, duplicate it, and then try $2 and see which one gets more views, not a bad idea. But when I'm seeing this versus this versus this, that all look to be almost identical to each other, and then this one as well, that's bingo, but nonetheless, and we're off by 5, 10, 15 cents. It just doesn't make sense to me if I'm looking at your shop as a whole, and that's making me potentially not be interested in moving forward because I don't want to get gypped. Like I want to trust you. I want to trust that I'm in the right hands. I want to trust that you're making the right decisions and building a pricing strategy with me in mind. So please keep that in mind, that if something is $2 and the thing right next to it, which is the exact same thing, is not $2, why? Let's think about that. Okay. Last up, let's see if there's anything down here I wanted to say for the about section. So I think this about section could definitely be grown. We're talking about personal branding. I think that we can add a little bit more a few more keywords in here that could be beneficial for the person, and then give me a little bit more information about you and why you built this in the first place. And then also in the about section, you usually have the ability to show videos and photos in a slideshow. So maybe give us some more information through your shop or what you offer or you making the items. Something like that could be really cool. Looks like all of your policies are done, so you're good to go. So outside of that, that's what I would say is above the fold, we're not doing ourselves a lot of service right now in here. And then also as it relates to pricing strategy and the sections, I think those are all things that could be fixed very quickly. These aren't huge things, but when you combine all of them, it really lessens the amount of trust that the potential customer might have with you. So last but not least, as always, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to pick something at random. Hopefully it worked. It did. Okay, good. All right. So now what I'm going to do is open up this individual listing itself. I'm going to go ahead and close out the shop page. There we go. And we're going to go through the entire thing together and be like, will I buy this or not if I am here as a potential buyer? So off the bat, like I said, I really, really do love the first photo. It makes sense to me, editable in Canva. I can pretty much understand because it said digital download on the page before. And it also says it down here that this is something that I'm not getting a physical form of, but it might be beneficial to maybe have something else here that says instant download or something of the sort. Otherwise, though, it looks good. Edit instantly in Canva, no pro account needed. That's really helpful because a lot of people are using pro elements and then their people are getting mad because they have to upgrade. One PDF access link to the Canva template. Okay. Yep. Beautiful digital product. Thank you so much for that. Oh, that's helpful. So I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this. So I would actually rearrange these first 5, keep the first one as is, and then do number 3 as number 2, number 5 as number 3, and then have this guy, and then have this guy. Because I need this information early on, and if people aren't getting the information they need from you fast enough, they might just click out of the listing. So how can we give them the information that they need in order to make a decision? Interesting. I don't know if this is important. This might just be a filler, but it might be. I could be wrong there, but maybe not. Okay, that helps. All right, so I guess the thing is, like, I don't really see that I have any questions, but I mean, I wonder though, is there a way for me to use this invitation and it not be a spa party? I don't know. Like that's the only thing that's coming to my head, but otherwise, I think your photos are good and they're answering all the questions I have. Editable spa, birthday party invite, 30th birthday invitation, girl spa invitation, Canva template. So the only thing that I would say here is you might be niching down a little bit too low, far, whatever the word would be for that, because 30th birthday invitation, they can change that, right? So I would actually say like something along the lines of like women's birthday invitation for spa birthday party invite, something like that, because you can switch that, right? So they can change 30th to 21st, 29th, 50th. So I wonder if we are cutting ourselves short here, or is there a way to make more of these listings that would be for different birthday milestones? I also feel like maybe these are not being potentially looked up as much as they could be, which is why we're not getting the views. So I would just go back to the, drawing board and figure out, using EverBee research, figure out, are editable spa birthday party invitations being heavily searched? Is there demand in that space? If the answer is no, it might be beneficial to start thinking about, how do we adjust this and adjust this to get people more interested in what we offer? Let's look at your description real fast. So this is pretty much just a recreation of your thumbnails, which is totally fine. I think this is actually a pretty interesting, and it makes sense to me, description. But again, I think we're just not maybe creating products that are as high in demand as we want them to be, so people aren't finding them. So overall though, if I did find this and it made sense for me to purchase it, maybe. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence, because I think that there's a couple of things that we could have possibly done to make this a little bit more attractive, and or make more sense to more people. So if I'm 30, how old am I? 33? Yeah, I just turned 33. So 30th birthday wouldn't make sense to me. So you are just niching down so much that maybe that could be something that you could put in the photos instead. So like, instead of like text in your own language, I would say something like, is it not your 30th birthday, or want to celebrate a different milestone at the spa? And then point to which things are editable. That's just something I would think about doing. But overall, I do think it's a really well-built listing. And I think that you brought it down to the right category in Etsy. So overall, I do think this is something that, with a few tweaks, if I was the right person to purchase it, that I would. So overall, great job on the listing itself. But please just make sure that we are taking into account the actual shop experience and really thinking about what the person on the other end of the computer actually needs from you. Okay. With that said, guys, let's go ahead and get on to the next one. Like I said, the first one always takes a little bit longer, because I'm usually explaining where my brain is going through the sitemap itself and showing you which individual things I'm looking at. Now that you guys know that, I think it's time for us to go a little bit quicker through these last four, so I can get you guys out of here within the hour. So the first one that we're looking at today, or the second one, I guess, is artful design. So this is very, very bright, first of all, but you definitely got my attention, that's for sure. Valentine's Day sale, up to 60% off. Cool. I'm liking that. But I just don't know if like the rest of it really makes sense, because I'm not really seeing what you're selling. I have no idea what's on the front of this shirt. This looks to me like you might be selling balloons or lollipops, and I don't think that's the case. And then your hoodie says sale on it, which is not a product. Good Lord, I'm so sorry. That creeped up out of nowhere, and it was like, I'm going to take over your whole body, whether you like it or not. Anyways, the hoodie sale, I'm assuming that's not what you're actually offering us. You're giving us a real product with a design on it. So this is not really giving me exactly what I can expect from this shop, other than, obviously, I know I'm about to save some money, which is awesome. Also, just a little note here, because I'm a grammar Nazi, just a little space between those babies. All right, let's keep going. So again, this is above the fold. Let me go back to 100%. So this is above the fold on this particular one. What's interesting to me is I saw more on the other one at 100% than I'm seeing on this one. So I don't know why. Anyways, let's pull it out to 80 a little bit. Nope, still not working. All right, anyways, so we're seeing the banner up here. We're seeing 19 sales, but we're also seeing 1 year on Etsy. So again, as someone who is potentially wanting to buy this, or is potentially wanting to decide whether or not I'm going to continue searching through this shop, that is not a very encouraging number. So if we've only had 19 sales across 1 year in total on Etsy, that doesn't mean that they only made an average of 1 to 2 sales per month for the past year. That could be they opened up their shop put 19 or put however many it is, 17 products out there, made 19 sales in 2 months, and then never made a sale again. Or it could be they started their store, their shop a year ago, and then didn't put any products out there until 2 months ago. And then they made 19 sales in 2 months. The problem is I will never know that. So these do not tell a good story to someone who doesn't have the frame of reference to assume that those potential outcomes could have been what led to these two numbers. So again, what I would be doing here is working really, really hard to get those 19 sales up as quickly as possible, which can be done in a multitude of different ways. But what I'm seeing immediately above the fold is you only have 17 products. So it would, the first thing you could do is immediately figure out what 19 products sold and then make more of them, make new iterations of them, get more products up and available. Reach out to your past customers who purchased those 19 products, figure out what they would be interested in purchasing next, and you can, self-curate it for them. So what I would do, I'll just come to these 19, for example. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. There's some copyright issues here, so it's not gonna be great. I don't know what's going on with my computer. 1 second, guys. There we go. Yeah, so unfortunately, it's almost a little bit of something that I'm unable to help you with, just because a good percentage of the things that you sold were copyright things. So that's not something that I ever recommend doing. I highly, highly, highly recommend taking down this listing, this listing, this listing, this listing, this, and that might be it. Everything else I think is appropriate, but unfortunately, again, that was over 50% of the things that you have sold. The good news is, though, this Korea one sold twice. This Seoul one, I believe, sold twice, maybe once. We're also seeing, I don't know for sure, but yes, it is. Okay, so Korean writing, language writing in here. I think that those obviously sold and did well. So thinking about more so, how can I get away from copyrighted things and try to make sales off of the things that people are telling me they like from me? So that's what I would do, because we need to get those 19 up quickly. Let me get back over here real quick, so that we can have a little bit more of a pretty number between those two. The last thing I will note, though, is 9 reviews, 5 stars each. When did they take place? That's interesting for me. So January 14th, January 8th, January 2nd, December, November. Okay, so I'm getting a really, really good understanding of what's happening here. It looks like the site has been available for a long time, but sales really didn't start happening until around October, November of 2025. So to me, knowing what that means, that's telling me that, like, okay, they're not really this old. They're maybe like 3 or 4 months old on Etsy, and they've already made 19 sales. So that's a much better understanding of a number. However, most buyers are not going to have that mentality, nor are they going to go looking for that information. So just keeping that in mind. Also, our sections are not helping you whatsoever. So on sale / limited time deals, and they all seem to be the same. So 17 products across both of them. We need to have things in here that are like Korean toddler, soul, whatever else you're selling, like let go and let be. Like maybe there's like a yoga section or something. I'm not sure what this is. Again, this might be copyrighted. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that. So that's the first thing I would say, is make sure that you are also using your listings appropriately and you are selling the things that are approved on Etsy. That's as far as I'm going to go into that, because it's not my business. So I'm not going to make it like it is. So anyway, so that's what I would say there. Then we have featured items. So I think it does make sense to have these 3 featured, simply because those were the ones that, outside of anything with the hunt tricks, you sold a lot of, so that's makes sense. Like, these need to be there for that reason. If I go to, let's see, shop policies, I'm just interested to see November 1st, 2025. So it's probably exactly what I assumed. I would also make sure that we are enhancing this a little bit as well. I think that there are just a couple of opportunities that we have to make this better. But anyways, let me go ahead and just click on something randomly. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. It's not. Fantastic. All right. So if I am a potential Korean mom, am I interested in purchasing this for my kid? Let's figure it out. So it's $15 for a toddler youth baby t-shirt hoodie. Interesting. This is not, I think that this needs some work here. So I don't know what sarang. Hey, again, I'm butchering that. I'm very aware, but I don't know what that is. Again, if it's hopefully not copyrighted, hopefully it's just a normal thing that you're able to use. Let's assume that it is. I think there's some work that can be done on this title. Right now, we're just basically saying toddler Korean saranghae, whatever. And then it's like t-shirt, hoodie. It doesn't make sense. Like there's not really a lot of things that are convincing me to click into this. If I were just regularly on Etsy, this kid is cute, very cute, but like the title is not really giving me what I need. Also the video is she a girl? Maybe she's a girl. She might be a toddler. I don't think so though, but like, or maybe it's like the youth is what you were trying to show here, that she's a junior. I could be so wrong here, but I don't think these are Korean lifestyle models. So it might be something to think about as well, is really making it make sense for who you're selling to. I think that could be a little bit more beneficial. That's cool. I actually like that. Being able to see both of them wear it is nice. So we have, it looks like a youth hoodie, toddler hoodie, toddler shorts. Okay, this is just to be honest with you, it's very, very overwhelming for me. I don't really know what to pick. And I think this could be more beneficial for you to actually split this up into multiple listings and then compare the success of the other listings. So there's like a toddler hoodie, toddler t-shirt, whatever it is, infant shirt, and then compare the success or the views or whatever of them against this one, because I think this loss leader is a little bit confusing for me personally. And again, I don't know if it's being found as often as it should be. Yeah, it's a lot of information. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense here. Also, keep in mind too, depending on what you're doing. Oh, never mind. You changed the colors. You're good. I was just making sure like the imprint color made sense on the back end. All right, let's see these details. Okay, so we need to definitely improve this description, because I'm not getting any questions answered about the questions that I had in the listing itself from the photos. I love that we have these awesome reviews. Maybe we can add some reviews into here, but I definitely think there is a way to enhance this. You can just go into ChatGPT if you want and be like, what am I missing? Maybe look at your, again, if it's not copyrighted. If it is copyrighted, I just take it down. In my opinion, is probably going to be the best option. But I highly recommend going to ChatGPT and checking out your competitors in this space, and then maybe be able to be like, this is what I have. This is what they have. How could I possibly make this a little bit more elaborate and get people interested in my product and being able to find me in search, utilizing, again, the right stuff in there. Let's also look at the listing details real fast. I'm just interested to see what kind of tags we're using. So the visibility score, as you can see, is 25%. So that means that we have some opportunities in the titles and the tags, potentially in the description, to be able to have people, see us as potentially visible. So here's what we're missing out on. So it looks like 2T to 5T size. There is no one looking this up. So the volume being 1. Korean sarang shirt, 1. T1 hoodie, 1, whatever. So you're missing out. Like you have 13 tags, but only potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are actually helping you. So I think that there's an opportunity here to really dig into this listing and think about first who is buying it and what do they need to see to be able to make a decision to purchase. And then also, what do they need to be able to see, or what do they need to see to be able to find me in the first place? So is this in demand? Is it not copyrighted? And how can I get more in line with who is being found in the supply potentially in this space? All right, let's move on to the next one. Hope all of that made sense for that second one we looked at. The next one is Lily Ann Rustic. So first and foremost, because they don't have a banner, I'm actually able to see a lot of things above the fold, which is great. But Lily Ann Rustic, if you're interested in popping a banner, by all means, you totally can. It is not required whatsoever. It'll just make you appear like the other shops, which is something that we're used to seeing as searchers and buyers. But the good news is the rest of your above the fold is on freaking point. So what am I seeing? 74 5-star reviews with 588 sales over 2.5 years on Etsy. So if I just did a little math real quick, and I did 588 divided by 74, that means that we're at an 8%, give or take, an 8% review rate. I highly recommend trying to get that higher. Like if we could get in like the 15 to 20% range, that would be amazing. So if we just do 588, let's go on the low side times 15. So if we can get this up to even just 88, that would be 15% of a review ratio for your shop, which is really sexy. We kind of want these to play off of each other. But again, this is a like unconscious response that someone who is shopping will have. They won't be doing this math like I'm doing. But if we can get these two numbers a little bit closer together, that proves that not only are you making sales, but people are liking the sales that they're purchasing from you or they're making with you, which means to me, trust. That is embedded social proof and embedded trust that I can have in your company. Also, the length of time that you've been on here. Again, if we just do 588 divided by 2.5, give or take around 240 or so per year, which is around 10 sales per month, right? So if we divide it by 12, right? Oh, excuse me, 20. So it's around 20 sales per month. So like it's giving me that you are potentially reputable. You're potentially someone that I might be interested in continuing to learn about, right? So good there. The next thing is the sections. I feel like we're doing really good on these sections. This is the first list of sections that I have been happy with for ours today. Journal words, potentially, winter and Christmas. I'm not sure what ATC means, but maybe people are looking that up. Vintage animals and birds, flowers and plants, etc. So my only feedback here is confirming 100% that these things are being looked up. There is a demand for these things. And obviously, sections only have a certain number of characters that you can use. I don't know the exact number, but let's just call it 100 characters or something of that nature. So there's only so much you can really put in here. But I wonder if we could do like winter printables or journal words scraps or something of that nature. What are we actually purchasing from you? Because I don't have a banner, right? And we no longer have the shop title here anymore. So I don't really know what you're selling without going into each of the individual listings themselves. So can you give me a little bit more information here instead of objects and items? What does that mean? No one's looking up objects, right? What are they looking up? Think like that person. What are they actually going to be typing into the search bar on Etsy up here? Maybe it's journal words for junk journal, right? So how can you populate yourself in those searches by utilizing the right things in your sections and then obviously in the listings themselves? Let's go to the reviews. It's cute. So we're responding to our reviews. Fantastic. Great shop. Wonderful. Okay, so I think these reviews are really telling about what you offer. I also love all of this. Frequently asked questions. This is the first FAQs that we've seen built out. So I really love that we're doing all of those. I also love that you are encouraging them down here to potentially give you even more social proof by sharing it on their Instagram. This is okay. A little bit bigger of a, oh, here we go. Wonderful. I did not know that until right now. And no one's really going to scroll if they're trying to buy from you all the way down to the about section. I'm just doing that because we're doing an audit today. So I need to see this somewhere else. So maybe this is in the sections. Maybe you build out a banner that tells me what this is. That would be really, really helpful. Okay, cool. Again, this is not my niche specifically myself, but it all makes sense to me if I was in this space. So everything looks really good. I think there's just a couple of things that we can tweak, but otherwise this is, I mean, I would give this an 8 out of 10 as is. Let's look around for a listing. See what I found. Whoa, that's a lot of words. All right, so 752 positive journal words. Interesting. 8 colors, 2 sizes. Low in stock, only 6 left. That's very interesting. So this is something that I've seen a lot of like handmade sellers do. One second, guys. Let me take a sip of my water. I can feel my throat starting to get a little raspy, and this is not an ASMR or a book talk voiceover. I'm trying to not come at you like, hello, ladies. So when I see this, it's usually in the handmade space because they obviously have to make them or they only have a shortened supply left. I really like this idea for a digital product, though. I actually did this myself for a digital product store I had back in I think it was like 2020 to 2024. Made good money in there, but I pretty much always had low stock in everything. But the good news about a digital product low stock is you have the ability to adjust that stock number anytime you want. So I kind of like that they're doing this because that's like, oh shoot, not only am I getting a discount, but there's also only a couple left. So if this is what I want, I probably need to get it now. So we're getting a lot of views here, which granted this is 21 months old, so let's give it a little grain of salt that it's almost 2 years old. But at one point in time, we got a lot of views for this particular listing and then 44 sales. So let's do a little bit of math here. So 44 divided by 1950 means we were at a 2.26% conversion rate. And you'll see that right here, right? So what I'm seeing is, oh, and also if we do 141 divided by 1950, we're also at a 7.2% favorites rate. So that would be this number divided by how many views actually took place. So what's surprising to me is 2.26 is not a bad conversion rate. You'll see it's blue, obviously. We want it to kind of be in the green if possible. But I would like to see this be a little bit higher, knowing that the views are pretty where they need to be, I think, for something like this. So I wonder if this is something that we can update the title right here. So 752 positive journal words. Awesome. Why do I need that? Why is that helpful to me? Am I going to take these words and put them in my journal instead of me writing them? I don't know. And again, that might just be that I'm not in this niche, so I know nothing and you guys know everything in this space. That's also totally fine. But I think digital printable junk journal words and quotes should be the beginning of this. Vintage ephemera could be at the end, right? So like I would say, what actually is this and what's the most important thing that you are trying to rank for needs to be at the beginning. I think this is a fine. Again, I'm not in this space, so I don't know. I would want to make sure that I compared it to people who actually know what they're doing, because I don't. But I think that's a fine thumbnail. Okay, cool video. I would say this all needs to be moved because I don't know what the purpose of these things are. So I would actually come down here and move a couple of these things maybe up because actually, so a lot of these things, just to be honest, it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't think it's just because I'm not in this space. You're not telling me why I need these, what these are going to do to better my life. You're just showing me what you're offering me. And that's not making me want to purchase this. And then once you haven't told me why I should purchase it, you're telling me to purchase more things that also I still don't know why I even am purchasing this one in the first place. So I would really recommend tightening up these listing photos and looking at your competitors and seeing what information they're giving rather than just the photo itself. Is there anything else that could possibly be helpful to have someone make a decision? I mean, I like the description. I think the very first part of the description can be a little bit more elevated simply because this is what happens whenever you are doing the search. Like, so if someone types in junk journal words into Google and your page or this listing pops up, they're going to see about, give or take, this. So is that something that's going to make me want to click into your listing? Probably not, right? So I would say maybe we can adjust the very beginning of it so it's very targeted at the ideal person and how this is going to help their lives, and then get into the features and benefits of the item itself. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, if this is something, we only have 2 more, so hopefully I can get done in 10 minutes. If this is something you are enjoying, please drop yes in the live chat. I'm going to take a sip of my water. Let me know if you guys want me to keep going with Sunday Best. And we have the last one being Happy Script Studio. Drop yes in the live chat when you're ready for me to keep going. Sadly, if you guys did not say yes, I'm still going to keep going. So you can like hang up on me if you want. So let's go through Sunday Best. First of all, this is my absolute favorite banner that I've seen thus far. It, yes, has the logo, but it also tells me exactly what they're going to sell. Crystals and gemstone jewelry. There's also a discount of sorts, free shipping on orders 35 and up. I'm also seeing multiple different examples of what they offer. And then like the background is so ethereal. Is that the right word? Where it's like, it's very like witchy and cosmic, and I'm loving it. And it makes complete sense. I'm not even in this niche at all, but I like, if I was, this is 100% speaking to me. Okay. Really, really love it. I'm also seeing, this is actually really awesome, guys. Let me do this math. 28 divided by 75. This is what I'm freaking talking about. 37.33% review ratio. That is like, we know that these two numbers, without doing that math, we know these two numbers are more comparable. They are closer together than the other listings were, or the other shops were, right? So anybody can see that and immediately in seconds have so much social proof without even doing that math. So great freaking job, Sunday's Best. I'm also seeing, oh yeah, you're doing such a great job with the sections too. So yeah, we got some on sale ones. That's awesome. But we also have bestsellers, pink amethyst, crystal hearts, lavender moon quartz. So she is literally, he or she, they are using the exact words that someone would literally be typing into the search bar. So crystal gemstone towers. That 100% is something that someone would type in. Crystal beaded bracelets, absolutely something someone would type in. So great work on the sections as well. Let me go down to your about real fast. Okay, so the announcement, January 26th. Awesome. So you just updated this a couple weeks ago, not even a couple weeks, a couple days ago. Great work. I hate that they moved the announcement down. Am I the only one that hates that? Please let me know in the comments if you're like, this is also horrible, because an announcement should be at the top. Why is it not there anymore? So stupid. Anyways, I'll take it up with Etsy next time I never talk to them. All right, so we got some reviews here. Let me check out your about section. Whimsical. That's the word I was looking for when I said ethereal. Oh, I don't even know if that's a real word, but ethereal. There we go. I said ethereal. So yeah, whimsical. That's what I was looking for. From a love of whimsy, beauty, quiet kind of magic, softer, soulful. Oh, I love it. It's great. Great work. Violet, you are 100% locking me in, and I'm not even a part of this niche. So great work. Let me see a listing. Share this tab instead. That sounded like the whistle while you work. You know that Snow White song with the, the 7 dwarves? Ignore me. I'm annoying. All right. So unfortunately, I'm sad about this, but unfortunately there's low views, no sales on this one. It might just simply be because of what we're selling. It might not be something that people are looking to buy. I don't know, but Angel Aura top points, self-standing rainbow aura polished quartz tower. I mean, I do think, even though I'm not in this space and without actually, you know, saying whether these are working or not in search, I do think this is a well-built title. I would just want to do a little bit more due diligence to confirm that these things are actually being looked up with EverBee research. Only 4 left and 1 in cart. That's good. We got 15%. The only thing I would say so far, first of all, thank you for using all 20 of your photos, or at least a lot of them, because that's great. But the problem is I'm only really just seeing over and over again angles of the same thing. So I think that there might be a better way to utilize at least 5 of these photos. What's the size of them? Compare them to something. What does it look like compared to this tumbler, right? So like, give me some size. Let me understand what I'm actually buying. What's the weight of them? Where can they be used? Like right now, you're taking a photo of it in a very curated space. But what if I had this like maybe in my office, maybe in my living room? Like, show me some of those photos so I can actually start to see it in my life. Like these things, I did not know that they were any differences until now. So maybe pop those in the photos, because some people will not do this right here until they're ready to make a purchasing decision. And if you have not convinced them to make a purchasing decision, then they don't need that, right? Let's see. Nice. I think we can go a little bit better on the description as well, just so that we can give talk to the person that needs this. So again, we are jumping immediately into the features of the product. Let's start by calling out the person that this would be perfect for. That's the only last piece of advice I would say there. Moving on to the next one. This is our last one, guys. So we got about a couple minutes left, about 8 or so. 6? I don't know. I can't count. Couple minutes left. So hopefully I'm able to get through this one in full, but this will be our last one of the day. As a reminder, we do this every quarter. So please make sure to check the description at the very bottom. Check out our Facebook group. Get in there if you're not already. It's completely free. There's almost 40,000 of us in there right now, so that you can make sure that you are a part of the next one. Happy Script Stud. Nope. Studio. Sorry, it looks like stud with a period. Editable and high quality Canva templates for successful small business something. I'm assuming that's like small business owners, small businesses. I don't know. But maybe we can fix that, because I don't know what that's saying. But I do like how you're showing me it's digitally optimized, or excuse me, mobily optimized here. We're seeing that maybe this is for Airbnb host potentially. And we're also seeing how you can use it in Canva. So I like it. It's kind of cool. I think it's giving me a good idea of what I can expect. But maybe we can also put some things on here. So for successful small business owners, for successful Airbnb people, whatever it is. 16 sales. They're only 1 month old. That's fantastic. These are really good numbers altogether. Airbnb bundle, digital book. So it looks like we all are doing Airbnb. There might be other things you're going to do in the future, but this could be for Airbnb host. Maybe could be something that even targets them even further. Excuse me. All right, let's pick one. Oh, these are cute. I love this idea. Airbnb complete signs. So stuff that people would actually want to print out and show in their listing. I love that. 193 views in less than a month, which means other people love it. However, there's only been one sale. So what are we missing out on here? Potentially, wow, that's crazy. 70% off. I would look at your competitors and figure out how much people are charging for this style of bundle. So 60 signs, for example. And then is this more aligned, or is the 2315 more aligned? Because it feels crazy to me that this is 70% off and it's a digital product. But also $7 feels crazy because it's so big and potentially it's a big bundle. So anyways, so this is good. I like this, how it is. But I might change the rest of the title. So what do they need? I don't know if you can use Vrbo and Airbnb in general because they are copyrighted names. So I don't know if you're going to be able to actually use those in the listing title without being, fearful of the listing getting shut down. So please do the research on that for me to make sure that you are protected here. But I do think there's a way to boost up the back end of the title with the most important things that you want to be searched for or found for are going to be at the very beginning, but then the back end is also going to explain what they are going to receive. So what sizes are they getting? Why would they need them? I do like that you have Vrbo, for example. Canva being in there is helpful. So maybe just looking at the back end of that title a little more. Wow, that's a lot. That's a little, I think that could go with probably the end. There we go. So this needs to be the second or third photo, because I need to know why I need this. Why is this beneficial? I don't need to see all of them. I trust that you're going to give me 60 of them because you told me exactly what you were going to give me here. So boop this baby up to the top. Put this to the top as well. That's fine where it is. I think this is fine where it is too. Cool. I think these are very, very, very good listing photos, by the way. Like, I have no questions whatsoever if I was an Airbnb host that this could be beneficial for me. So I would just make sure that you are thinking about the listing photos as I could potentially lose someone, as they might not even click through and or they might not make a purchase if I don't have these listing photos in the right sequence. Right now, I don't believe they're in the right sequence, but all of them together do answer all the questions. The problem is they might not get to the ones that answer all of the questions, and they might just cancel out of you and go to someone who is giving them what they need from the first few photos. So just make sure your sequence is right, and then I think you're good to go. Oh, this is actually a really good idea. So this right here is exactly what I was talking about earlier when I'm saying, like, call out the person and why they need this at the very beginning of it before you start getting into the benefits and feature. This is a perfect example of exactly how to do so, while also continuing to double down on the long tail key phrases that you initially wanted to be searched for and found under. Okay. So guys, I hope all of that makes sense. I hope you got benefit from this. Even if you were not one of the shops that was chosen, I hope I gave you some tips that you're then going to apply to your shop going forward. If you guys did enjoy this live stream and you want to see it again, please go ahead and boop that like button on the live stream itself. And let me know if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments of this video. Hopefully my team was answering all of the live chat questions as they came in. But I thank you guys so much, as always, for being here. Super, super excited to chat with you again next Thursday about a topic that I hope you guys are going to be interested in. Please stay tuned for that, and I will see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. Congrats to everyone that I audited today, and super congrats to the Sunday Gemstone and the Happy Script Studio. You guys are doing phenomenally, and I think there's just a few little tweaks that would make our other 3 shops really, really hit the nail on the head. So great work to all of you. So very proud of you putting yourselves out there and being interested in this audit, because this is not easy. This is kind of scary to put yourself out there for critique. So I really, really commend each and every one of the 5 of you, and I can't